this is the final straw. Donald Trump is fed up with the Democrats, with the judges. He's fed up, guys, and is now calling on Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson to expel Democrats from Congress. Trump said the Democrats have never been held accountable when it comes to the withdrawal from Afghanistan, the Russia-Ukraine war, the attack on Israel on October 7th. He said everything that has caused this world to move into chaos was under the Democratic leadership, and he said he is tired of it. He said, I want you to expel them from Congress and allow us to move forward as a country. He said these Democrats are total lowlifes who hate our country and will drown the United States of America to spite Trump. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Trump is fed up right now. I'm serious. Like this post that we're going to show you and what is coming out, he's at his wit's end with these Democrats and everything that they've done. Trump is so furious and he wants action, and he wants action now. These dang Republicans who took majority of the House this year just took a 2-week vacation while Trump's agenda has been stonewalled by judges and lawsuits. And now Donald Trump has called on Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson to expel these Democrats from Congress so that we can get the agenda done and make America great again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And not only that, everybody, Elon Musk and Doge have referred 57 cases of potential voter fraud to the DOJ, and this is only the beginning. What Doge and Elon Musk are doing is going to change everything moving forward, and it's only going to reveal more and more that the American people have become pawns to the deep state, to the Washington elitists. They've been using our tax dollars to live like luxurious kings while we are over here having to bust our butts to pay more and more taxes and getting less and less with increased inflation and the Social Security being drowned out. And they're saying that it's going to be gone in 7 or 8 years. But now, because of courageous people like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, we are getting our voice back, guys. We, the people, are moving forward because we are starting to expose all the fraud, waste, and abuse. Trump says he wants to expel these Democrats now. He wants Jim Jordan, he wants Mike Johnson to stand up and do what needs to be done to get these lowlifes out of Congress. Let me know your thoughts. And again, guys, you do not, it is like if we had a counter for how much Donald Trump has been right, well, guess what? Alberta, Canada, is holding a referendum vote right now on leaving Canada. Alberta, Canada said that they want to become the 51st state of the United States, guys. This is so huge because this is the thing. Trump said, hey, we supply most of their funds anyway. We're the only reason why they even have an economy, and now Alberta is doing the necessary legal things to move and become a part of the United States. And guys, the wins keep coming in. China has just exempted 25% of U.S. imports from tariffs, and Beijing has signaled that it is ready to talk to the United States to eliminate all the tariffs that have been going on. Trump was right again. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Are you ready to see Alberta as the 51st state of the United States? We got a ton of breaking news to get into tonight, guys. Trump is fed up. Just want to say thank you to all of our subscribers, all of our viewers, guys. We couldn't do it without you guys. Y'all are the best. If you're not subscribed, please consider joining our family. We want you here, guys. We want to take care of you every day with the top news. And thank you to everybody that gives a super chat donation that is a member of our family, guys. Want to thank Charlotte Burkholder, Michael Wilson. Guys, show them some love in the chat, as well as Christina. Welcome to the family. We got a ton of breaking news to get into tonight, and the Democrats are losing it right now because of what I'm about to show you guys. Trump has said we need to expel these Democrats now. Check this out.
Fox News alert. Senator Chris Van Hollen has been the Kilmar crusader for weeks. Now he says his trip to El Salvador had nothing to do with Kilmar.
I have repeatedly said that we're not vouching for Kilmar Abrego Garcia. We are vouching for his constitutional rights, because if you trample over his constitutional rights, you threaten them for every American and everybody who resides in America.
Van Hollen changed his tune because every day another...
Guys, he changed his tune on Garcia. They don't really care about this guy anymore because of what you're about to see now. Video evidence that this dude was literally smuggling people across the United States.
Drops on the Maryland dad. He was a suspect in a human trafficking operation dating back 3 years. And Fox Digital just got their hands on the body cam. But you're seeing it here first. Tennessee Highway Patrol stopped Kilmar for speeding and noticed he had 8 other people in the car.
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this is what I'm talking about.
All no luggage. Take a look.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Good, and you?
All right.
Everything good?
You got a bunch of people here, don't you?
It's 1 for sick. Yes. Go back to work.
Gotcha. Where you working at?
Where?
Where?
San Luis, Missouri.
Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I'm from to Maryland.
Where do y'all live at?
Where I living? I live in Maryland.
Maryland?
Yeah, also.
Whose vehicle is it?
What, excuse me?
Whose car is it?
It's to my boss.
Your boss?
My boss, yeah.
Where's he live? Where's your boss live?
My boss right now is staying in Maryland, but he lives in Texas.
Okay.
Houston, Texas.
After talking to Kilmar, the officers had no doubt he was trafficking.
Right there, guys.
You know what you got here, right? He's hauling these people for money. You got an ass hauler is what he's doing, but sometimes they commingle dope. And
No. But
there's 8 people in there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know that. They put an extra row of seats in there.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to haul these people, probably to Maryland, I would say, if I had my
He
guess.
said they all work together. That's what he's telling me. But he's the only one that knows English.
So let me ask you this. They don't have any luggage in there, right? And if you get them out, they're going to have toothpaste and they're going to have toothbrushes in their pockets, I guarantee it.
He's got $1,400 cash in his pocket in an envelope.
So in the video, you can see one of the cops making a phone call. The body cam audio cuts out for 10 minutes. Sources told us that on that call was Joe Biden's FBI, which advised police not to detain Kilmar at the time. That source also tells us Highway Patrol called Biden's ICE, and they never showed up.
Guys, oh my goodness, does it not get better than this? So not only did the Biden ICE cover up what they're alleging as the human trafficking, like all this stuff right here, I promise you, you're not going to hear anything more about a Maryland man because this video has now dropped. We have the evidence, corruption from the very beginning. They knew it, and now they don't even want to talk about it because we finally got the truth. 100% busted. If you appreciate this, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments.
Biden's guys said an MS-13 gangster, suspected human smuggler and wife beater, released into the country. God knows what he did and was never caught for it before Trump deported him. Primetime will keep digging and keep you posted when we find more. Joe Biden was box office poison for the Democrats, so he's plotting his comeback for the small screen. His first interview since leaving office will be with, drum roll please, The View.
Wow.
It's the same show that tripped up the Harris campaign when she couldn't think of anything she'd do differently. And just like Harris brought tampon as backup to her interviews, Joe's bringing the doctor. So if Whoopi goes too hard, Jill will be on set to bail him out, Belichick style. I'm not sure if you heard, but Kamala gave her big speech last night. First one since Trump's been sworn in, and it looks like she's only back for a good time, not a long time. She charged people to hear her. Got to pay down those campaign debts, you know. And it was classic Kamala.
Please allow me, friends, to digress for a moment. Okay.
Oh, it's so
kind of dark
cringy.
in here, but I'm asking for a show of hands. Who saw that video from a couple of weeks ago? The one of the elephants at the San Diego Zoo during the earthquake? Google it if you've not seen it.
Guys, if you appreciate that this person is not our president, guys, hit that thumbs up like button, because I'm telling you, we dodged a bullet, guys.
Told her tiny audience the sky is falling.
We are living in a moment when the checks and balances upon which we have historically relied have begun to buckle. And we here know that when the checks and balances ultimately collapse, if Congress fails to do its part, or if the courts fail to do their part, or if both do their part, but the president defies them anyway, well, friends, that is called a constitutional crisis.
Oh, really?
Ilhan Omar having her own little crisis. We're not sure what's going on in her personal life. We don't like to pry. We swear we don't. But she seems cranky.
Do you think more of your Democratic colleagues should be traveling to El Salvador to advocate on behalf of Abrego Garcia?
I think you should off. Yeah, that's
I'm sorry, what? Congresswoman?
off.
Who should?
You.
Why me?
We're not taking any questions right now, but here you go.
Yeah, thanks.
The rest of the squad wants to impeach Trump a third time. The good old impeachment hat trick.
We should never take impeachment off the table. We should never take, where we see law breaking, we should never take accountability off the table. If you break the law, you could be prone to removal from office.
And you know what, guys? Trump is fed up with this. And that's why he's calling now for Jim Jordan and Mike Johnson to expel these Democrats from Congress, because he said they're all crooks. They've never been held accountable. They want to impeach Trump, but yet nobody was held accountable for Afghanistan. Nobody was held accountable for the Russia-Ukraine, for the October 7th with Israel. Nobody has, on the Democratic side, has ever seen justice, and it's time that it happens now.
Biden, Kamala, the squad. Who's going to lead this party out of the wilderness? Trump just chose his fighter.
Do you have any advice for Stephen A? If he launches the run?
No, Stephen A. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy. I love watching him. He's got great entertainment skills, which is very important. People watch him. You know, a lot of these Democrats I watch, I say they have no chance. I've been pretty good at picking people and picking candidates, and I will tell you, I'd love to see him run.
Outkick.com.
Right there, guys. Even Trump is calling it out. But right here, what you're seeing, guys, is that Trump is fed up. This is the actual post that he put out today where, guys, and this is the long one, but he said the Democrats are really out of control. They have lost everything, especially their minds. These radical left lunatics are into the impeachment thing again. They have already got two no-name, little-respected congressmen, total whack jobs, both throwing the impeachment of Donald Trump around for about the 20th time, even though they have no idea for what I would be impeached. Maybe it should be for cleaning up the mess that they left us on the border, or the highest inflation in our country's history, or perhaps it should be the incompetent withdrawal from Afghanistan or Russia, Ukraine, or the attack on Israel on October 7th. That the only proceeded because they allowed Iran to regain great wealth. The congressman stated that they didn't know why they would impeach me, but we just want to do it. The Republicans, right here, guys, right here, the Republicans should start thinking about expelling them from Congress for all the crimes that they have committed, especially around election times. These are very dishonest people who won't let their country heal. Why do we allow them to continuously use impeachment as a weapon against the president of the United States, by all accounts, who is working hard to save our country? It's the same playbook that they used in my first term, and Republicans are not going to allow them to get away with it again. These are lowlifes who hate our country and everything it stands for. Perhaps we should start playing this game on them and expel Democrats from the many crimes that they have committed, and these are real crimes. Shifty Adam Schiff demanded a pardon, and then they had to use the power of the auto pen and full pardon him, and then the unselect committee of political thugs to save them from expulsion and probably worse. Guys, Trump is fed up, and what you're about to hear next is the next steps. We've got to bring change into the White House, into our Congress, because the deep state is deeper than we ever could have imagined. Angela Broom, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Y'all show Angela some love in the chat. Right now, the people closest to Trump are letting us know what's about to happen next, guys. And I'm telling you, it's worse than what we thought. Check this out.
Remember, this is part of the crises. This is the part of the kinetic part of the Third World War. Remember the three kind of boom, 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 the three verticals. America First, national security, which is on the stopping the wars. The deportations. Judge yesterday said President Trump can't use the Alien Enemies Act of 1798. Can't use it. Some federal judge and a Trump appointee. This is going to, can we get this clock rolling? Thanks. And now you got the budget out. My phone's already getting blown up. A lot of people not happy with some of the stuff getting funded and not funded. There's a lot of details. We're going to go through that and come out, start this afternoon, and then tomorrow to go through it in detail about how we get the financial and other aspects tied together. Of those three converging crises, the one that's not getting enough attention right now, and I'm not sure getting enough attention with folks that ought to know better, is don't assume the administrative state and the deep state's going away. They're not. Even at these agencies where you have landing teams or you have some of our 4,000 or 5,000 people in there, they have very small representation or MAGA involvement given the career bureaucrats and given the career administrative state folks. What you have to do is go in with a jackhammer every day and be relentless, and people have to have their back. That's one of the show. This show is dedicated to making sure we highlight those stories.
Boom.
And we have the backs of those. That's why this Ed Martin situation is so important. He may be outside of the top 2 or 3 people at Main Justice, and whoever ends up heading, whether it's Jay Clayton or whatever, whoever ends up heading Southern District of New York, one of the most important people in the country. And given the purview of his basic involvement in the Capitol and other things, because you saw what happened on J6, he may be one of the most important of all. And this gets back to one of the central problems. And this, you're going to see it come up with the budget. All this thing about when the media says the Republican Party is totally MAGA, the House and Senate totally MAGA, that's just, they missed the point as they missed the point in everything. That's not true. Most of these people, most of them, the elected officials in the House and Senate, are just waiting MAGA and Trump out. They fear you. Of course they fear you. They fear your retribution at the ballot box and in primaries, of course. But they've come up to a system, and there's still rhinos, and the Republican Party is still neoliberal, neocon, globalist. It's not economic populism. It's not economic nationalism. They're not nationalist. They'll hum a few bars.
Guys, think about who's already exposed themselves. Rand Paul, Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins, just lately. Mike Johnson revealed himself last December whenever he literally was going to he did. He put forth one of the worst continuing resolutions filled with pork and fat, that the only reason that it didn't get passed because Doge called it out, guys. We got a lot of people that need to be primaried in 2026. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, this right here, I'm telling you guys, I'm so sick of the deep state.
To get you off their back and to run for cover immediately if you highlight it. And the Ed Martin thing shows perfectly. Today, when President Trump presents this budget, you have these structural issues. This is the discretionary, this budget, so it says like Trump's $1.5 trillion budget. This does not have any of the entitlements in it. It really just has the big entitlements are obviously Social Security, Medicare, and even Medicaid, although you could argue that's maybe not as an entitlement as the other two. But this is the discretionary part. This is the defense budget and then all the other agencies. And traditionally, it's been a $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion. President Trump's got $160 billion.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Elon, and for all the Elon fanboys, he pulled this. This is a coincidence. This is the number he pulled out the other day. This has nothing to do with Doge. It just doesn't. The programmatic part of this, yes, the Doge go in on USAID, but those things have been fought forever, and these are all being taken apart in the appropriation process, which is a legal process. I still don't see any, and we need it. I don't see any numbers in here at all of the fraud.
Yep.
The waste. And no offense, this show is one that forced them. You got to cross the Potomac. You got to cross the Potomac. You got to cross the Potomac. Why? If you want to get serious about that, you got to go to a place called the Pentagon, and you got to go there. And I'm not saying I've heard crickets from the Pentagon in that part, but all we've heard is crickets from the Pentagon. And so in the converging crises we're coming up, there's one in the middle of the pivot and the reorganization of the post-war international rules-based order on the economic side and the dollar side, given that Rio's going to happen in July. Layered on top of it, how we actually finance this, what we are financing and how we finance it. What are we actually going to do as a government? And what are you as a taxpayer prepared to finance? And missing in all this, there ain't one penny in here of fraud. We need
guys,
it.
And that's the thing. I don't know if you know, but they released the, Trump's budget today. We're going to do a deep dive into it. We'll do it in tomorrow's show of going through line by line item of what's going on. But there's a lot in there. But again, he's right. There's no in there of notating fraud, waste, or abuse. And guys, I'm telling you, the deep state is so infiltrated into Congress. If we do not cut out and primary some of these rhinos, we're not going to clean up Washington.
I knew the $1 trillion would never happen, but we thought it was going to be something. We need every penny we can find. And we need people, if they defrauded and they took Social Security money, or if they took food stamps, or if they took Medicaid, anything they took, that's fraud. It's got to be turned over to Main Justice. It's got to be turned over to Main Justice now. So these converging crises, and you figure, how did we get in a situation that we have $1 trillion, $1.5 trillion to $2 trillion of discretionary spending that literally we can't afford? It's because we only take in $4.5 to $5 trillion of revenues, all sources. And yes, maybe tariffs are going to kick it up. Looks like it's going to kick it up. Maybe kick up $100 billion, $200 billion, which would be amazing. But that's not going to cover the gap. That's not going to cover the gap. How do we get here? It was the Republicans were controlled opposition. Fox News was controlled opposition. The Wall Street Journal was controlled opposition.
You hear that, guys?
Controlled opposition. Did Jim Rickards just not take us back to this debacle in Ukraine in 2008?
Controlled opposition. Guys, I've never seen it like I've seen it now, but we've got such a bad problem around the United States that the corruption is as bad as it gets. A judge has lowered the bond from $1.2 million to $7,000 for a migrant. They're not saying illegal, but he's an illegal migrant who was a truck driver accused of killing 5. You don't like this stuff right here, guys. This is complete. This is left-wing judges that are wanting to destroy the United States through their judiciary law. There's no way in this world this makes sense. Want to give some love to Cynthia R. Bass Godwin. Thank you so much. Welcome to the family. And Joseph Rickard, thank you for gifting a True Life News membership, as well as B1 Sly One, and as well as Judy Lynn Loving Spirit. Guys, y'all are so kind tonight. Thank you so much. Joseph Rickard with the super chat and another gifted True Life News membership. Guys, make sure to show them some love in the chat. This right here is what Trump is talking about. We have to expel Congress. Congress is not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And we have to put in people that are going to be willing to go after these rogue judges, that are going to be willing to hold them accountable, because this doesn't make any sense, guys. Like, are you kidding me? How do you go from a $1.2 million bond to literally $7,000? Right now, we know that Elon Musk and Doge have referred 57 cases of potential voter fraud to the DOJ. They're just getting started. They're finding so much, guys. There's been so many. There's been over 100 referrals to the DOJ for them to go and arrest people because of the corruption that Doge has found within all of their audits. And I'm ready to see it. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments, because again, too, if we don't arrest them, if we don't hold them accountable, they will never stop. Listen to this.
It'll blow your mind with the billions of wasteful crap they've exposed. Jesse has the scoop.
For Friday evening, Elon Musk and the bright young minds running Doge giving Jesse an exclusive look at their cost-cutting operation, where they exposed more gobsmacking examples of waste, fraud, and abuse. Watch this.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor,
You start peeling the onion. Yeah, exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion. And then maybe, and sometimes it's zero. Just flat, you get to the bottom of the onion, there's nothing there. It's possible that no one got us exchange in Guatemala.
There was a $4 billion COVID fund in the Department of Education, and there was no receipts required, so people could just draw down on it. And when people looked into it, this wasn't us, this was before us, they found that money was being used to rent out Caesar's Palace for parties, rent out stadiums, etc.
Unreal. And then Jesse got to meet his Doge idol.
Who's Big Balls?
It's me.
Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Notice except for Jesse. I'm just curious, Jesse, you know, what your overall impression was of this group, because when Brett spoke to some of the members, they were like a lot of CEOs, a lot of people with a lot of experience. This was like that young crowd that we heard a lot about, at least some of them were.
Someone said, what was it like being the dumbest person in the room? And I said, I'm used to it. So the one kid had dropped out of Harvard to go do this. Another kid was 21 years old. I think Big Balls is maybe 23. And the minute they open their mouth, they're so articulate and they're so serious and they're so competent. One of the guys at the end of the interview said, you know, people sometimes, these bureaucrats, that come up to us and thank us. You know, because you get the story in the press where these guys are mercenaries and they're coming in and they're just axing people and it's a big standoff. No, these people are collaborating with the Doge team to make the government better.
Yes.
And that was something I don't think anybody had really known before because of the way the media describes it. One story kind of got me. There's this Institute of Peace, and they say they name things because who would ever want to kill the Institute of Peace? They walk in the door and there's a armory. There's fully loaded weapons being stored in the Institute of Peace. They're sending hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Taliban, and they start asking questions. And then these guys start destroying evidence. They just start erasing files, destroying pieces of paper. It's eye-opening. It really is.
Guys, and these are the same people that, look at this, guys. These are the same people that said, keep in mind, the Democrats voted to fine American citizens for not buying insurance. Remember? Obamacare, all that stuff? But then, when it came to the illegal aliens and all the people coming over the border, Medicare for free. Healthcare for free. Don't got to be a part of the program. Just sign up for the taxpayer benefits and you'll be taken care of. When it comes to the Democrats, there is no logic. It's all, we're going to give them stuff so that they can vote for us and we can keep the system corrupt. We can keep the system as a slush fund for whatever we want. Guys, I am so tired of all the corruption. Like, in my heart, just imagine if we could just clean up the United States, Washington, D.C., how much more we would be able to help out our seniors. Peter Ortiz, thank you so much for gifting 10 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Guys, if you got a free membership from Peter, show him some love in the chat. Guys, what an amazing blessing. Let's go. Check this out.
Judge for the Department of Education, no receipts. That money was supposed to go to catching up kids during COVID. I remember President Biden in that classroom, and the little girl was like, I just, fall asleep or I go get something to eat. The money it disappeared, and there's no return on it. It's not an extra food drive. It's gone.
Yeah, well, it's gone because people stole. Let's not kid each other. They may claim, for example, as with USAID, that it went for an opera in Ecuador. But the issue is, was there ever an opera in Ecuador?
There was no sex change in Guatemala.
So the money goes to this person, and it subcontracts to that person, maybe an LLC here, and it never gets to the alleged goal. And then the question is, was there a kickback? Did everybody spend the money? And let me tell you, I worked in government for 32 years. Nobody does anything without a receipt, Harold.
Yep.
You don't take money and just spend it willy-nilly. And by the way, people who go...
Guys, if you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, guys, I am so thankful that we're finally showing all the American people, guess what? We do got receipts. There is corruption in the government.
Work for government. People who work in civil service are unaccustomed to first-class events. When you work for government, you're basically, in the back of the bus, in the back of the plane. These people are renting out Caesar's Palace, spending a fortune on first-class conferences where they don't have conferences. And while American taxpayers are cutting their budgets to make sure they can pay taxes, these people are spending the money with absolutely no consequences. Now, the Democrats have been beside themselves with Doge. How dare you? How could you? This is outrageous and all this other nonsense. I'm not sure that now that Congress is taking over, that we can even trust Congress. Because Congress has had the ability to oversee this for the last 30, 40, 50 years. And they...
Guys, let me know in the chat, do you trust Congress? Because I'll tell you this, not at all. Not even close. I would not put anything on Congress. To me, they're just as corrupt as the rest of them are.
On nothing because one hand washes the other. And now what we've got to try to figure out is whether or not these criminal referrals, and there have been criminal referrals to the Department of Justice, will be prosecuted. And I think there will be a great many of them.
I think that's what you need, Greg. I mean, somebody has to go to jail for stealing money from the American taxpayer, or else it's just going to go on and on and on and on.
There's nothing worse than too many food drives. But you know what? Let's go back to the A block. This is the hill you die on. The debt's $36 trillion. It's predicted to default in, a decade at this rate of spending. So it could completely destroy the economy. This is where you should put your energy. Adults put their energy in this. The Dems, they fly to El Salvador on your dime to defend a thug. That's the hill they choose versus this hill. And they choose these hills despite knowing what we all know. The numbers are there. We're screwed unless Doge does its job. And yet, what do? They falsely claim that Doge is cutting Social Security and Medicaid. Why would you say that? Why would you say that when you know that if Doge doesn't do this, we're all screwed? Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, we're all screwed.
100%.
The lower third that was up there said this is a long-term thing. This is why polling is garbage. With Trump, the reason why we stick with Trump is because we're in it for the long term, not the short. Saving the economy, not saving one illegal in El Salvador for the short-term dopamine hit. These polling numbers at the moment, it's like asking a guy how he feels while he's moving a sofa. And not afterward, when he's sitting on the sofa, having a beer and watching the five. Pollsters and Democrats don't get it. We accept reality. We get the tough stuff over first. Doge, tariffs, deportation. Yeah, it hurts and it sucks, but the future's going to be great. Pollsters and Democrats do not think about the future. It's now that it's all about now, me.
Guys, let me tell you this. If Trump isn't right, Man, I tell you, how many times this guy's right. Alberta introduces bill to hold a referendum vote on leaving Canada. They want to be a part of the United States. They want the success. They don't want to be in the liberal, left-wing, socialistic Canada. This is what, again, Trump knew. And not only that, right here, guys, China exempts quarter of U.S. imports from tariffs. Beijing signals ready to talk. Trump is making it happen. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. I didn't switch the screen. My bad, guys. That's on me. China exempts quarter of U.S. imports from tariffs. Beijing signals ready to talk. And not only that, guys, we got it right here where Alberta introduces bill to hold a referendum vote on leaving Canada. Trump is making things happen, y'all. 100%. Joseph Rickard, thank you so much for gifting another True Life News membership. Let's go. And Fred Samuel said we have to get rid of corrupt judges, otherwise arrest will be useless. That is so true. That is so true. Y'all show Fred and Joseph some love in the chat, as well as Peter Ortiz and Shelly Bergman for the super chat. Let's go. Guys, y'all are so kind. Let's go. I love it. We're growing the giving, guys. We're growing the giving. We have to get to the bottom of this. Elon Musk and what he's touching and everything. I want you to see, because again, guys, it's all going to affect our dollars, our taxes somehow in one shape, form, or another. Listen to this.
Elon Musk may be winding down his role at Doge, but the movement isn't losing steam. Musk and his team detailed their mission to cut waste, fraud, and abuse from the federal bureaucracy, and what they described was a game of cronyism whack-a-mole.
So they're just stealing the money before it even gets anywhere.
There's layers of stealing. So there's the first layer of stealing, second layer of stealing, third layer of stealing.
Subcontractor,
peeling the onion. Yeah,
subcontractor.
exactly. Contractor, subcontractor. It's like peeling an onion.
Doge says it has saved $160 billion, roughly $1,000 per taxpayer. The goal is to make waste so hard to restart, it's not even worth trying, no matter who holds power.
Oh, they're going to try.
Is Doge just getting started? This is a long-term enterprise.
It's a long-term enterprise because if we take our eye off the ball, the waste and fraud will come roaring back.
They can Doge when Democrats get back in power.
We're trying to have it be such that the funding is removed, so the grants are gone. So there's a lot of work required to restart the waste and fraud.
All right, Tiffany, what do you think when Elon Musk exits? Okay, do you think Doge is kind of going to go the way of, I'll say, the dodo bird and be gone, or do you think Doge lives?
Oh, yes. Doge lives on. From the very beginning, Elon wasn't planning on staying the whole time, and he has a whole team set up underneath him to tackle this and take it on. Not only that, he's working very closely with Congress, with members in the House and in the Senate. I even met with some in the Senate who have said, like, we are on top of this, and we know what's going on, working very closely with Elon and his team. There are some government employees who have 2 to 3 credit cards with no oversight at all. I mean, when Elon says this is just the beginning of unveiling it, it is. And this is exactly the reason that Donald Trump was elected in November, overwhelmingly. Americans are ready for transparency and accountability within the government because it's our money.
Madison, the Doge team's got some really senior people. It's got a lot of young people who are really excited about this. I think they got excited because they could work with and for a guy like Elon Musk.
Oh, 100%.
They seem to be a lot of the engine driving this right now. Do you think that enthusiasm is going to be there as the leadership of this thing transitions?
Admittedly, I do think it will be a bit tougher. I think Elon Musk brings a lot of power to Doge. However, we heard from one young man who I think left Harvard to be on the Doge task force. So I think there is a workforce that remains, but the star power of Musk does leave. That might be good for Doge, though, because there's been a lot of distraction. A lot of people have been focused on him versus what they're doing. Because not only are they making these major cuts, right? $160 billion saved. That's incredible. They're also innovating and bringing, frankly, the government up to speed with modern technology. They showed so many packets of all this paperwork that is physically done and physically carted around. We shouldn't be running our government like that. And that's how also things can kind of be swept away, because if it's on paper somewhere and it's not on a database, you don't have to realize that, oh, this one government official has 3 credit cards and there's no paper trail because it's all physical paper and not digitized. So
3 credit cards, no receipts, no oversight. You tell me, guys, what the heck are we doing? This is so crazy. Guys, the amount, I'm telling you, you know now, guys. You know now why people want to be in Congress. You know now why they want to work for the federal government. They get a lot of benefits, but there's some extra benefits. And I'm so sick of it, guys. It makes me so mad because I know of how many people are hurting because they can't get enough from either Medicare or Medicaid or Social Security. And I just really wish that we could get some dang accountability and get some people arrested. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you don't mind, guys, hitting that thumbs up like button. Thank you so much for your support.
I think it still exists, and maybe, even if it's less flashy, could actually be better for Doge.
Okay, Jerry, you're the person who is rarely satisfied with what's been, you always want more of the thing. I find you're the one, you want it faster, you want more of it done. Doge says they've saved $160 billion. I think that's pretty dang good, but are you satisfied?
We want more. I mean, no doubt about it. And the proof's really going to be in the pudding, right? Is this really going to get taken out of the budget as we talk skinny budget and budget beyond? Will we really see it go away? And here, we're going to have to rely on Congress to get its act together, and I don't have a lot of confidence in that. I really want to see Doge continue. It's probably the only government entity that I really want to see get traction and do their job as best they can. But I want to ask you guys, did you see Bret Baier interview the Doge guys?
Yes.
Because
Loved
it totally changed my view of what they were, who they were and what they were doing. These guys were like CEOs and super sophisticated. They weren't just, you know, the way the New York Times and other media had portrayed them was as like some kids that he knew from
the 20-year-olds who were hacking their Social Security.
Right. And it wasn't that way at all. These are super smart people, which is what it takes to get rid of this stuff. The other thing that also needs some investment probably is modernizing systems, because as we know at the IRS, their computer systems are horrible.
Every government agency.
Yes.
The VA, go through the list. And Elon is bringing that. I mean, AI will expose so much and help our government work more efficiently. And as America, we should be leading the charge on these newer technologies and these advancements.
So, Taylor, I'm always interested in what Doge discovers when it kind of looks under the hood of what's going on in government. This is the Doge team talking about some of the things they found at these nonprofits that they're looking at in government. Take a listen to this.
Thanks to President Trump, he's now signed 2 executive orders to start to reduce the number of agencies in the government, and the Institute of Peace was one of them, which is why our team went in to try and understand what was going on. And that's when we found all of the craziness, like the weapons in their armory. We found the payments to the Taliban. So just a few hours after we got into their headquarters, we found that their chief accountant had actually deleted over 1 terabyte of accounting records from several years.
The chief accountant. If that person doesn't get put in jail, guys, we're never going to have a system. We have to see these people be put in jail. You cannot know that the Doge team is coming and purposefully go and delete data to try and cover up the fraud, waste, and abuse.
So this is the Institute of Peace. It's one of these nonprofits that nobody's ever heard of, but our federal government sends them money, and deleting data, payments to the Taliban.
You know,
this is what makes Doge popular.
You know the company that I thought of when they said they started deleting all the data before the feds could come in and run.
Yeah.
Remember? And Ron started like
That's true.
ripping things up, putting things through even Bernie Madoff, right? Putting them in the shredder, like shred everything, the feds are coming. Not to say that this is what's happening, but if you're deleting over a terabyte of accounting records from the several years because you know that the big guys are coming into town, to me that doesn't look good, right? What are they hiding? What are they deleting? Imagine too if this is a private company. Can you imagine a CFO deleting data as we were coming in and your accountant, I don't know, KPMG, EY, coming in to look at your books and you're not able to account for where things are going? So to me, this always comes back to Doge's promise, which was operate like a private sector. And all the critics say, well, that's not the government's job. The government's to be the government. No, for me, that is the government's job, is to be to work for me. And we think if the private sector has proven over the last 100 years in capitalism, 300, whatever, that it's more efficient, then let's do it. My worry, and I am agreeing with Jerry a little bit on this, 160 billion is great, but when we think about what was promised and the big run up within the equity markets, September, October, November, every note I read was so excited for $1 or $2 trillion because we have a debt problem, we have a deficit problem. We've been talking about how important the 10-year Treasury yield has been and refunding all of the debt that's coming due. My worry is in Washington, anything with a B is a rounding error. You need a T to get people's attention.
Yes.
Good start, but this doesn't even begin to tackle my long-term worry in this country, which is we have a deficit and a long-term debt problem, and I need $1 to $2 trillion. It's hard for me to get excited about 160 billion.
Tiffany, what has to happen?
Guys, I'm with her. I am, guys. We need trillions of dollars. We know it's there. We know it's happened. The problem is they've caught 160 billion this year. What about last year? The year before? Who's held accountable? It's only going to get real for people when people start getting fired. People start getting arrested. JCG, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Said thank you so much for keeping us all in the loop every single day. True Life News is my go-to channel for all my updates. I love it. Y'all show JCG some love in the chat, everybody.
To put a T behind the numbers.
Well, Congress needs to rein in their spending.
Okay. Do you think so? You think president's he's got the skinny budget. It's not as aggressive as a T, but it's pretty aggressive.
Yes.
I mean, do they have the staying power to get more done?
Well, we're going to find out very soon. As they're working on the reconciliation bill and working on extending tax cuts. I wish I could make them permanent, but I just don't think we are there yet. But Congress, we have to get back to pre-pandemic spending. It is completely out of control. To your point, Taylor, what is that going to look like? I think there should be a bill on President Trump's desk here soon, end of May, perhaps. But what does that actually look like when you crunch the numbers? Congress needs to stop spending. And I don't know what it's going to take to get them to truly understand that.
Guys, Congress is, oh man, I just want to see people held accountable. I just want to see people actually be put to the grinder and people hear the truth. Listen to this, guys, because again, too, the more people that hear what Trump is doing in actually saving tax dollars and saving money, that's what's going to get more votes to keep them in power to do what needs to be done. Rex Hodges, welcome to the family. Let's go. Y'all show Rex some love in the chat. Listen to this.
I'm a member of the Doge Subcommittee of Oversight. We were tasked with finding waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government and highlighting it. And one of those that we found, which Republicans and conservatives have talked about for decades, is state-sponsored media in the United States. China and North Korea have state-sponsored media. The United States does not need state-sponsored media. Listen, if Fox News or any other conservative news organization came to me and asked for taxpayer money, I would tell them no. I certainly don't think we should be funding left-wing propaganda outlets like NPR or PBS. I had a hearing just a couple weeks ago where I got to question the head of NPR and ask her about some of the wild, outrageous things that she had been posting on the internet for the whole world to see, and she had no answer for that. The American people are sick of funding institutions who promote values that they find repugnant, and that's what we're doing with NPR and PBS. And that's what we are hopefully soon, via a rescission bill, going to pull those funds back.
Boom, baby. He's a part of the Doge subcommittee in Congress. But think about it, guys. Again, you never can just have what you're supposed to have. You got to put it into committee. Then that subcommittee has to vote on it. Then that subcommittee's got to go to another committee. Then they got to get support of it. And it's like they keep spinning it. And you're like, is anything ever going to get done? That's what I want to know. Because we catch, guys, look at this. The Democrats, they went head over heels. These Democrats, for all these people going to El Salvador, all these criminal migrants. Well, guess what? Now that the news is passed, where are they at right now? Oh, they're saying, oh, well, it really wasn't about Garcia. It was about, we weren't trying to bring him back. Complete liars, guys. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, check this out.
Grandstanding Democrats took a big trip to El Salvador to visit their favorite Maryland dad, but they never even laid eyes on him. The Daily Caller reports it was a full-blown junket. They stayed at a 5-star luxury hotel with amenities galore, margarita room service. If you feel like letting loose and relaxing on 100% Egyptian cotton sheets, have at it. Or maybe order room service and sample world-class tequila on your outdoor terrace. Did these Democrats chillax in the pool and take in volcano views? Did they get a schwitz in the steam sauna after a hard day's work doing CNN hits from their suites? After not finding their long-lost Maryland dad, but enjoying the tropics, other Democrats are considering more fact-finding missions to other exquisite locales.
Do you think Democrats should continue to go to El Salvador?
I'm planning on going, and I think we should continue to go. I know there's another group that's...
Look, guys, they go stay at 5-star hotels on the taxpayers' dime. If this ain't a bunch of you-know-what, guys, I don't know what is.
Looking to go to Honduras.
Honduras. Now Democrats who couldn't find a babysitter and take off to Central American luxury resorts think chanting for Kilmar will bring them home.
Free Kilmar. Kilmar Abrego Garcia. And of course, Kilmar Abrego Garcia is a union member. He is an apprentice UA member who is pursuing his American dream.
Kilmar's a union member like Sammy the Bull's a union member. And we just got our hands on the second restraining order his wife took out on him. Says, even if I kill you, no one's going to be able to do anything to me, basically. After all this, the media is still going to bat for their favorite gangster.
It is an undeniable fact that illegal crossings at the southern border have plummeted, a staggering decline. But there are questions about your methods. And so I want to ask
about my message?
Methods. About your methods. How you're accomplishing
they seem to work.
Terry Moran then transitioned to an MS-13 defense attorney. Watch this.
This is a MS-13 gang member, a tough cookie, been in lots of skirmishes, beat the hell out of his wife. Right. On his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute.
Well, wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Interpreted that way.
Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshopped? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them.
Yeah, Terry says he's not an expert. We know. But the media says trust the experts, and the experts say MS-13 all the way. The media still wants to fly gang members back to the country. Marco says, this is none of your business.
Have you been in touch with El Salvador about returning Abrego Garcia? Has a formal request from this administration been made?
Well, I would never tell you that. And you know who else I'll never tell? A judge. Because the conduct of our foreign policy belongs to the President of the United States and the executive branch, not some judge.
Trump shut down 99.9% of border crossings, but Democrats won't even give him that.
Is that not a sign that the Republicans...
I'd say one thing to you. I don't trust Trump's numbers.
Wow. Democrats don't trust Trump's border numbers. They don't trust gang experts that say Kilmar's tats are MS-13. They don't trust his wife who says he beat her twice. Are Democrats this dumb? Or is this an elaborate excuse to go on siestas and sip margs? Missouri Senator Josh Hawley is here now. I know politicians like to go on foreign junkets. When you guys get your expense accounts in order and you fly to these foreign locations and check into a 5-star luxury hotel, how much work is actually being done?
Well, I can tell you how much work was being done by these Democrats who did that, Jesse, and that's none at all. But it amazes me their open contempt for the American people. They are totally defying the will of the people. They want the border open. Now that it's closed, they are literally flying on the taxpayers' dime to go and hold hands with terrorists and escort them, if they had their way, one by one back into this country.
They couldn't even find the terrorists.
Exactly.
I mean, what were they doing the whole time? I think they were just doing CNN hits from their rooms. That's all they did.
And now they're going to keep flying to other countries until they can find the terrorists and bring them back to this country.
I think there's one in Bermuda. Let's go there, Chuck. All right, Terry Moran. Not a great interview for Terry. Could have been a lot better. When you see the president arguing with these legacy media hosts and they lose time and time again, you'd think they'd learn. Why hasn't the media learned about Donald Trump?
Well, because they're such sufferers of Trump derangement syndrome, they can't think straight. And Jesse, the truth is that they are so intent on their agenda. It doesn't matter what the president does. It doesn't matter how many successes he has. It doesn't matter that the border is actually closed down. They're going to say the opposite. If Donald Trump came out and said it's sunny, they'd say, no, it's raining. If Donald Trump said the earth is round, they'd say, no, actually, I think it's flat. I think it's flat. I mean, this is just how they are. It's insanity.
So right now we're in the Senate and you guys are getting things through, we hope. When are my taxes getting cut? My wife wants to know.
Soon. And most importantly, working people, Jesse, what did the president say? No taxes on overtime, no taxes on tips, no taxes on Social Security. This president is in a position to deliver some of the biggest blue-collar tax cuts in American history.
Let's go.
And I think he's going to do it. And Congress needs to follow through. This is what he ran on.
Is Schumer going to be able to slow you guys down? I mean, he looks like a mess, Chuck Schumer. Is he okay?
You know, I don't know that he's okay, but it's not going to matter because we're going to do it with 51 votes. We're going to jam through the president's agenda. And listen, the president is transforming us into a working class party, and it's about time.
It's a good thing to observe. Thank you very much.
It's about dang time, guys.
Good to see you.
I'm getting too, guys. I love how the left-wing media just pulverized Trump when it came to the stock market. Well, guess what? S&P 500 records 9th consecutive day of gains. The longest winning streak in over 20 years. But do you hear about it? No, because it's always following the narrative. Destroy Trump at all means. Joseph Rickard, thank you again so much for 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. If you got a free membership from Joseph, show him some love in the chat, everybody. And Fred Samuel, thank you so much for the super chat. Say we need to put the government on a budget like Americans have in their own homes. And guys, I'm telling you, that's why moving the Federal Reserve away from the federal government is what you have to do. Because if not, anytime they go over the budget, they just do what? They just print more, print more. Listen to this, guys. What I love is accountability. And what I love is whenever there's a few of them, it's the minority, not the majority, of representatives that actually say, guys, what are we doing? Listen to this.
So which is it? Senator Ron Johnson is on the Budget Committee, and he joins me now. So who's got it right, Senator? Those who say that we're not cutting enough, and those who say we are slashing the budget?
Well, first of all, when you use terms like cutting and slashing, you're playing right into the big spenders game plan here. Now, what I've been talking about is returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic level spending, and I've laid out different options. So again, the facts are in 2019, we spent $4.4 trillion. This year we'll spend probably north of $7 trillion. And that's more than a 50% increase. Nobody can justify that. Again, if the family...
How in the world, pre-pandemic, 2019, we spend $4.5 trillion. Pandemic happens, and then all of a sudden now it's okay to spend $7 trillion. Congress is out of control, guys. Congress has too much power, in their spending and what they do, and they have to be reined in, guys. I don't care what any of these people over these committees say. What matters is that the American people are footing the bill, and Congress has no accountability whatsoever. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Do you agree with me or not? I am so sick and tired of hearing these stupid budgets that these congressional people cannot freaking hold to. You and I have to hold to a budget, or else, guess what? We get kicked out of our homes. We lose our cars. The lights turn off. But when it comes to the dang Congress, never changes. They do whatever the heck they want.
They had an illness, and they had to borrow $50,000 to pay for medical bills, and then that family member got well. They wouldn't keep borrowing $50,000 to keep spending at that level. But that's exactly what we've done. So again, what we need to be talking about is returning to a reasonable pre-pandemic baseline of spending. You always hear people say zero-based budgeting. They're not going to do that. But why don't we go to, again, I've laid out options. Going back to total expenditures under Clinton, under Obama, under Trump, if you plus those up by inflation and population growth, leaving Social Security, Medicare, and interest alone, spend at those levels that we're spending right now, that's somewhere between $5.5 and $6.5 trillion. That should be the starting point. And quite honestly, the Senate budget resolution picked a number about $6 trillion, right in between that. But you start there. But what you need to do is do the work. Doge has shown us exactly how oblivious Congress and members of the administration are to the grotesque levels of waste, fraud, and abuse. So they're bringing a business person's approach. I come from the private sector. Small businesses probably put more time and effort into combing through their budget than we do for the federal government, where we're spending $7,000 billion a year. So we have to do the work. We have to look at every line item.
But it's not only the press. Of course, obviously, Democrats in Congress are talking about slashing the budget. They say you're cutting Medicaid. You're not cutting Medicaid. Medicaid is increasing, but just not as much as they wanted to. Not only that, but there are things like Medicaid wasn't designed for healthy men. Medicaid was designed for...
Guys, Medicaid has been increasing like 20% to 25% every year. This year, I think it's only increasing 10%. And that's what the Democrats call cutting Medicaid. It's stupid, guys. It's so stupid.
For poor people who are sick, for pregnant women, literally that's in the first document that they came out with what it was designed for. Shouldn't we have work rules in Medicaid, for example?
There should be work rules in all these federal benefit programs. That will encourage people to get back to work. Right now, we don't have enough workers, partly because we pay people not to work. We make it very possible for them not to enter the workforce. So that's why you have to go through this line by line. That's not what's happening right now. What is happening in the House is they're taking a look at all these programs saying we can't cut that, and that. Well, we may take a look at this. Let's tweak it a little bit, get a CBO score. It becomes an arithmetic exercise. And again, they're using the language of the big spenders, cutting and slashing. No, let's go back to a reasonable plan. Again, I don't think we were spending too little in either 1998, 2014, or 2019. Go back to those outlays, put a control on it. Again, population growth, inflation, there's your starting point, but you have to do the work. You have to look at the detail.
Senator,
and that's the only way this process is going to last for a long time.
I have to ask one question about the tax bill. Will we get it before Memorial Day?
No. No, there's no way, because, again, unfortunately, President Trump chose the one big beautiful bill. What he should have done is the multiple step process. I suggested 3 steps. Get the border funding.
I don't know. Maybe if y'all didn't take a 2-week vacation, we'd have it by Memorial Day. They just got back from a 2-week vacation, everybody. And that's why the bill's now late.
Second step, just extend current tax law. So we take an automatic tax.
Will we get it before the end of the year, quickly?
Not if we don't come down with a reasonable pre-pandemic level spending. There's enough of us in the Senate that will not agree to that.
Oh, boy, that's bad news. Senator, thank you for that. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Appreciate you coming on.
Man, guys, I am so ready for Trump to kick butt. I'm ready to see people held accountable. Want to say thank you to everybody who is watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers, guys. Thank you so much for your support. I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, we are so grateful for your support, guys. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing to our channel. We want to serve you every day with the top news. It is such a blessing for us to be able to, we bust our butts, guys, and we want to bring you the best show ever. If you appreciate this, guys, if you don't mind hitting that thumbs up like button, I want to give some love to those that are members of the channel, those that have given a super chat donation tonight. And also remember, guys, we've got a very limited number of t-shirts left for sale, guys. I'm talking like less than 20 on some of the sizes and less than 10. This was a first edition premium t-shirt, guys, for the True Life News fam. Go grab you one. Remember, a portion of this is going to our charities, guys, and just want to say thank you to everybody who's bought one already. And I want to give some love to Christina, Angela Broom, Cynthia R. Base Godwin, Joseph Rickard for gifting True Life News memberships tonight, John E., B1 Sly One for gifting tonight, Judy Lynn for gifting tonight, Joseph Rickard for his super chats, Peter Ortiz for gifting 10 True Life News memberships tonight, Fred Samuel, Shelly Bergman, Dan Garces, Peter Ortiz for the super chat, Scott Matthews, JCG, William Walker, Rex Hodges, thank y'all so much, Angela Broom. Guys, y'all show them some love in the chat. Guys, so thankful for your support. We couldn't do it without you guys. Y'all are the best. Show these people some love in the chat. We want to continue serving you every single day with the top news, guys. It matters to us that you get the truth. We love you. We thank you. We'll see you in the next one.